Today you will need a chair. You'll want a blanket. You'll also want a couple of yoga blocks. Now, if you don't have yoga blocks or if you only have one, just grab some other blankets and pillows so that you have enough stuff. You'll be able to use that instead, all right? And then you'll also need a wall space. So the wall space you'll want is a big enough space where you can put your foot up against it on the floor, okay? And I'll show this later. I'm just kind of giving you an idea. And high enough to reach your arms overhead. And then also wide enough, and this one, it's okay if you have to work around furniture and stuff, where your arm could stretch behind you. Whoops, throwing my glasses around. Okay, where your arm could stretch behind you like this. Okay, so that's the amount of space you'll need. And you can work with doorways and things like that too. That would work as well. All right, let's get started on the floor. We're going to start in a chest opener pose, and I'll show it both with the blocks and with the blankets and pillows, all right? So the first step is, if you're using blocks, you take one of the blocks and put it on the lowest level. And even if you have blocks, you might just prefer to use blankets for this, so you're welcome to. Now the second block, that's going to go behind your head in a moment. That block you want to have on the medium level or the high level. So you want it to be taller than the one behind your back. Now let me show you. So you come into it with your knees bent, and a lot of people get this in the wrong spot where it doesn't feel good on their back. So I'll explain it. This one goes behind your skull. And the one behind your back goes across your upper back, not way up high on your shoulders, and not down here on your lower ribs by your kidneys, okay? It goes across the upper back. And so it should feel quite comfortable. Now you might want your head propped up as much as I'm showing. If this were me, I would want my head lower. So I would put my block behind my head lower, and my chest lifts up as the shoulders fall back. Okay, now, I really like this with the blankets. I find it to be very soft, and it might even feel better to you as well. So with the blankets, you take a blanket or a towel or whatever you've got, or a pillow, and you can fold it or roll it up, and that goes in the same spot on the upper back. And then the second blanket or pillow, or you can use your one block, goes behind your head at a higher level. Okay, so I do the same thing here. And if you're using the blanket, your arms might need to spread out. So if you see, the blanket comes out from underneath my armpits here, and my arms spread across on the top side, as long as that doesn't hurt your shoulders. Good, so take your time getting into it. And if you have any questions and you're here live, just go ahead and ask. There we go. And you can make it like I'm making my chest blanket or my upper back blanket a little bit taller here. Once you get into it, you might decide you want your legs straight, or you can keep them bent. You might take a sigh or two. And this position is meant to be comfortable, not a big stretch. Okay, so making any adjustments needed. Feeling for softening your jaw and your face and your eyes. And you might notice when you're here that as you breathe in, you might feel your breath expanding your rib cage more just by the position you're in. And as you exhale, make sure your arms and shoulders feel okay wherever they are. And the shoulders are just gently falling back with gravity. Counteracting that rounded forward posture and the shoulders rounded forward posture. As you breathe in, noticing how wide your breath can be. And today our focus is on this area of our body. And this area is associated in yoga with the fourth chakra, the area around our heart and our lungs. And it's associated with the qualities you might expect to be associated with the heart, like compassion and forgiveness, love. And today we'll focus that with one of the yamas in yoga, or actually the yamas, and that is ahimsa, which means non-harming. So it's like we're seeking to not harm others or ourselves with our actions, our words, our thoughts. So in our yoga practice, in our asana practice of physical postures, we can practice self-compassion and non-harming by staying attuned to what our bodies, our minds, and our spirits need. And we'll try to do that with a spirit of curiosity and kindness and patience toward ourselves. Lengthening your exhale. You could blow out through pursed lips or use your natural breath. Good. Couple more breaths here. Letting go to gravity a bit more if you can. Okay, now if you're using the blocks, you can just stay on them, okay? If you're using the blankets, I'm going to show you how you'll want to change it a little bit, okay? So if you're using a blanket like me, I'm going to roll to my side and I'm going to take the blanket and just roll it up a little tighter and more firm. So what I did was I took it by the shorter end so I can get it nice and thick. Or you could wrap two around each other. You want a nice, thick, firm roll. This blanket's a little more flimsy than I would like. Okay, and if you're on the blocks, you just stay on the blocks, but you bend your knees. Okay, we'll all bend our knees for this one. And depending on, and I'm gonna put this higher, firmer roll behind my upper back again. I'm just gonna come back down to where I was, but I'm going to interlace my hands behind my head. Okay, now if you're using the blocks, you might take away your head block, or you can leave it there. You know, you can always leave it there if you prefer. Okay, I'm going to interlace hands behind the head, and as you inhale, I'm going to lean back any amount. And as you lean back, You can try opening up the elbows. And then as you begin your exhale, begin the exhale first, and then try to feel that the sternum is moving downward. And you lift your head and shoulders a little bit. Elbows can curl around ears. Okay? And then again. So the thing I find people do both in that beginning pose and in this one is they have their blanket in the wrong spot or their block. They either have it too high up on their neck or shoulders, or they have it too low on their kidneys or low back. It's across the upper back. So if it doesn't feel like it's in the right spot, move it around until it does feel good. Okay? So you're opening up on the way back on the inhale. Elbows can open, supporting your neck. And as you exhale, you're beginning the exhale first. Sternum moves down, core engages, elbows curl around. Let's do a couple more. Good. Now this time when you come up, if you're on the blankets, you can just roll to the side to come off. If you're on the blocks, you can tuck your chin and push yourself up off the blocks. And move your stuff out of your way. I'm going to keep my blanket there for head and neck support. But nothing behind your back, just coming down to the floor. Knees are bent. Moving shoulder blades down back and noticing here. All the places where you're making contact with the floor. Noticing how your upper back and shoulders feel after those first postures. And finding that yogic breath, a wide inhale, like you're breathing three-dimensionally throughout your torso. And a long exhale, either out through the mouth with pursed lips, or you can breathe out through your nose. Good, and then we'll just start to pelvic rock. So exhaling, pressing the low back down to the floor, and inhale, let's rock the pelvis forward, any amount, and repeat. And you might notice that your head nods with this motion just naturally. Couple more here. And then coming to neutral, inhale, exhale, right knee comes in, give it a squeeze. And you can use your right hand here to make circles with the knee and hip. You can make those circles as big as you want to, and then reverse directions. Good. And then coming back to the center, you can either hold behind the leg with your hands, but if that feels like a big reach, what you can do is take any kind of strap or towel and put that behind the leg like this. So not up at the foot, but behind the leg. And then you'll inhale, stretch up the leg, and exhale, bend, and repeat. Good. And now if you want to, you could keep that leg up there, rolling the ankle. Keep breathing, right? It's trying to stay with that umbrella breath, wide inhale, longer exhale. And now reverse the direction of your ankle circles. Good, and then let's bend the knee and put the foot on the floor and just notice the two sides. And then taking an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring the left knee in and give it a squeeze. And using the left hand, making circles with the knee and hip. And now reversing directions. And then coming back to the center, holding behind the leg with your hands or your strap. And inhale, stretch it up. And exhale, bend and repeat. Good, and then you can keep it up there and roll the ankle around if you'd like here. Kind of relax through your shoulders. And reverse the direction of your circles. And then let's bend the knee, foot to the floor, noticing the two sides. All right, we're gonna roll over onto your side. You might wanna roll on the side that is facing me. And I'm gonna make your head and neck support tall enough so that when you're on your side, your neck is comfortable. And then we'll lie on this side, and the top knee will come onto a medium height block or something similar if you don't have a block, okay? And then the shoulders will stack on top of each other. The arms stretch out in front, and then you can check in with your head and neck support. Okay, we're gonna be opening like a book. So we're going to inhale and rock that top arm forward so it maybe even will slide on the floor in front of the hand. And then as you exhale, open up that top arm like a book while you keep your knee grounded on the block. And then repeat, closing the book, inhale, just reach it forward, exhale, open up, keeping this bottom knee on the block. You can even put your hand on your bottom knee if it's convenient to keep it there. Keep going. Now, if you have any shoulder pain and this hurts in any way, please adapt it for your body. So you might need to bend the elbow or take a different angle or not open it quite as far. Also notice what's happening with your neck and head. So when you open like a book, depending on how far your body can open, your head might roll so that the nose points to the ceiling. And when you close it, it points over to the side again. So you can see if that makes sense in your body as you do it. Now this time, if you want to stay open, you could. Keeping that knee grounded, taking a few breaths there. Imagine you're trying to open up the rib cage with your inhale. And then as you exhale, you can bring that arm to close the book again, and then roll onto your back with your knees bent, noticing the two sides. All right, and then you can roll over to your other side, or if you prefer to still look in the same direction, you just spin yourself around. Okay, take your head and neck support. Top knee on your block. Arms stretched out ahead, or you can hold your top knee with the bottom hand if you want. Shoulders stack up, and as you're ready, you're gonna rock that top arm, slide it forward on the floor, and then exhale, open up the arm. Trying to keep the knee grounded on your prop. And repeat, inhale, close and slide. Exhale, open, noticing how the neck wants to move. Again, modifying if needed by changing the angle of your arm or bending the elbow or not going as far. And now if you want to keep that arm open, you could. Again, can you use the inhale to try to spread apart the ribs? And then as you're ready, let's close the book and then come onto your back. Knees are bent, noticing. And then you can either draw your knees into your belly and rock yourself up, or you could roll to your side and press yourself up. Okay? We're going to come onto our hands and knees here. Now, if you can't be on your hands and knees, you could come up and sit in your chair. We're just doing cat and cow pose. Okay, so you can do that seated in a chair as well. You'll start in a tabletop position and then inhale, tilt tail up, chest forward, exhale and round. And noticing how this is feeling through your whole spine, right? So paying attention as you're doing it. What do you notice? What parts of your spine feel like you can pay attention to more, and what parts can you not connect with? Does anything feel tight? Do you want it to be big or small? Good. Now, next time you pass through neutral, just pause, and we'll use our bear get up. So you can tuck your toes under, or you can get up any way that works for you, of course. I'm going to try walking the hands back and pushing off the hands, standing up. And then once you get there, I'm going to inhale and reach your arms up. You can stretch it way up. And then exhale, arms out and down. And we'll do this a few times, okay? You can try going forward and up. Of course, modify if you need to for any shoulder issues. Good. One more. All right, and then letting the arms hang down. Let's just stand with our feet parallel. All right, and kind of play with your toes on the floor like you're a cat kneading its paws on the floor. Okay, and then pressing down through your feet, 3 corners of the foot, of each foot. So the 3 corners meaning the ball below the big toe, ball over on the outside of the foot, and then the center of the heel. So just feeling those areas, press down to the floor. Good. And then from that space, feeling like you can grow taller into the space above you, relaxing your shoulders. So the top of your head reaches up, and then noticing your breath, inhaling and exhaling. You can even use your pursed lip exhale here if you want to. Really soften the shoulders, so not trying to like pull them back, not trying to force them down, just simply softening. Good. One more breath there. Good. And now let's just do a few bounces. So like you're on a little mini trampoline, knees are soft, best bouncing up and down. Of course, you can always jump too, like leave the floor, okay, whatever feels right to you. Let's do it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then placing the feet down, noticing how you feel now. Breath in and breath out. All right, we're gonna come to the wall. This is the one where you need a wider space, okay? We'll all do the same side, but you might need to watch me first, okay, just so you get it in your mind. You guys that are here live have probably done this with me before, but you still might wanna watch it first. So what I'm going to do is I'll be bringing my left side to the wall, and I'm stepping my left foot forward. So let me do the other side so you can see, right? So I've got my inside leg forward and I'm close to the wall. I'm almost touching it. You can be you'll see how far away you want to be. My front knee is bent and my back heel is on the floor. All right, so I'm like this. This is the start. And let's pretend this is my left side. So I'm going to take my left palm to the wall, stretched out in front, straight. And then I'll start to turn. So watch me first. I'm going to turn my chest to the wall as my arm comes up and over till about, well, if you're doing your left side, it'll be like 11 o'clock, right? Or 10 o'clock. It really depends on where you need it to be for your own body, okay? So it might be down here, it might be up here, or even higher. Okay, you're trying to feel a stretch through here, right? So when we get here, you're facing the wall. Then I will slowly roll my shoulder away from my ear. You might need to bend the elbow a little bit. And then I'll slowly maybe turn my chest away from the wall. So I'd start here, right? And then I might turn it away like this. You might not be able to turn it away because it might be so darn tight in there that you might not be able to, okay? So you're gonna see what you need to do for your own body. All right, I'm gonna talk you through that whole thing again so you can get to the wall if you're not already there. Inside leg forward, bent. Inside arm ahead, palm touching wall. Inhale, as you start to bring like a windmill, bring the arm up and around, turn your chest toward the wall and pick a spot on an angle for your arm to be. Roll that shoulder down your back so it comes away from your ear. And then you can start to turn your chest away from the wall toward the center of the room. So away from your arm, if it's appropriate for you. You want this to feel like a stretch where I mentioned in the front of the shoulder, the pec minor, but you only want it to be with like an intensity of 50 to 60%, right? We're not trying to hurt ourselves here, okay? We're keeping our nervous system calm. And the shoulder moving down the back without tweaking the neck. So just see, where does the head want to look? And breathe. For me, I like to push my hand a little bit into the wall strongly, and I bend my elbow to make that happen. It just feels good to me to do that. You can try it. Let's take a few more breaths. Good. Now to come out, you turn your chest back toward the wall, and the arm can come down at your side, and then just step forward. All right. Notice the two sides. And just check in with yourself. Are you pushing yourself too far? Are you staying in a good range where it feels good? Okay. And how's the other side going to be? Is there a problem with that shoulder? Right? You might need to modify. All right. So let's go back to the wall and turn the other way. Inside leg steps forward. Inside knee bends. I'm still going to show it this way. Inside arm comes forward, palm to wall. As you reach that arm up like a windmill, you start to turn your chest toward the wall. Pick an angle for your arm. So it could be up on a diagonal somewhere, or it might be straight back. I often like to take it straight back from my shoulder. And then slowly start to turn your chest away from the wall. But before you do that, actually, move the shoulder blade down your back. So roll that upper arm bone back. And just finding here the right intensity for you, where you can still breathe calmly. We're not trying to force anything. Right? So finding that place, you might need to move it around, might need to move your neck around, might need to turn your chest closer to the wall rather than away. Might need to push your hand into the wall and bend the elbow a little bit. Good. Now to come out, we're going to turn our chest back toward the wall. Let the arm come down at your side and release. Good. Just stand for a moment. We're going to use the wall again, but differently. Let's just close the eyes if that's comfortable for you and notice your two sides. Following your breath in and out. All right. So again, you might want to watch this first. So for this one, I'm going to be facing the wall. And we'll be starting with warrior type pose, a warrior one. So my feet will be like they're on two tracks here. But do you see how my toes are bent up the wall? So my toes are in extension. The ball of my foot is on the floor and the toes are up the wall. Now your toes might not be able to bend like mine. You can try it. It's a stretch, right? It's supposed to be increasing your feet strength and mobility, right? But if it's like excruciating or you have some issue with your foot, you might need to back off quite a bit, okay? So we'll be here, and when we come into it, you don't need to come into it yet, I will bend my knee in the direction of the wall, and I'll have my arms high, and my shoulder blades are down my back, and I'm trying to lift my chest up like this. Now, if this bothers your back, you may need to lean forward more instead of doing the chest up, okay? Or if you have shoulder injuries, you may need to bend the elbows or have them down, okay? Now, from here, we'll be stepping the foot next to the other foot and then hinging. So it's like a downward dog or a wall hang. Hands are planted, and then I will be stepping the other foot forward, okay, with the toes up. All right, let's try it. I'll talk you through it. You can always pause and watch me too. Let's start with right toes up the wall, right leg forward, warrior one. Arms come up above shoulders if that feels okay. You press into the wall so the chest lifts and shoulder blades move down your back. Checking in with your low back, just make sure all feels well here. Breathing in and out. Good, in and out. And now as you exhale, you can begin by engaging your abdominals, pressing into the wall and stepping the right foot back next to the left. You might need to adjust. Hinge at hips, fold. Butt goes to center of room. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now as you exhale, start to bend the knees and round the spine a little bit. As you step left leg forward, toes go up wall if possible. Bending front knee, you can adjust your feet as needed. Shoulder blades move down back. Chest lifts if it feels okay. Breathing, feeling back heel grounded. Breathing in and out. Long exhale, you can use your Ujjayi breath, breathing in. And as you breathe out, engage abdominals. Press hands into walls, step back to your waterfall or your wall hang here. Okay, now we're gonna go a little bit more quickly, but not fast. We're trying to keep it smooth. So we'll, on an inhale, bend knees, round spine. Step right foot forward, toes up wall, bend front knee, lift chest, shoulder blades down. Exhale, stepping back, engaging abdominals, going back to your wall hang. Inhale, round spine, left foot steps forward, toes up wall, shoulders down back, maybe you lift the chest. Good, exhale, stepping back. It's okay if you're not on time with me, with the breath, just take your time. Let's do one more each side. Good. Now let's slowly walk toward the wall. Let your arms come down. And notice, just kind of shake them out. You can step back into your space if you've had to relocate. And let's just do a swing and twist. Good. Good. All right. We're going to take our chairs and have a seat on them for a moment. All right. Inhaling, opening up the arms. And I will mirror you. We're going to take our right arm on top of our left and give yourself a hug. Good. Nice. Now, just pause here. So you might need to let the elbows sink down and move the arms down. And as you inhale, breathe into your upper back. And exhale, relax your jaw and neck. And now inhale, open up. You can stretch the arms back. And exhale, right or left arm on top of right. Give yourself a hug. Same thing. Inhale, breathe into your upper back. Exhale. And inhale, opening up again. And exhale, right on top of left. Now you could, depending on your body and how your shoulders feel, you could give yourself a hug, right? That feels better. Or if the elbows happen to hook, right, so they don't slide apart, but they stay in there, you could try eagle arms. You might be able to do eagle arms, but it might just hurt. So if that's the case, stick with the hug, okay? Here, inhaling, breathing into this upper back space, but relaxing the neck. Relaxing your jaw. And you're pulling your elbows against one another. That's why there's no point in doing it if they don't hook, because that won't work, right? That's why we just do this. Good. All right, now on the next inhale, open up the arms again. And then exhale, left on top of right. Same thing. You might stick with the hug or you might hook, okay? And you're breathing into your upper back, relaxing around the neck and the jaw. Think of it as breathing into the backside of your heart, space behind your heart. Good. Then inhale, open up again. And this time, exhale, get a hold of the back of your chair. And hold on to it. You might need to scoot forward on your seat. Inhale, rolling your shoulder heads back. Good. And exhale, you can lean forward a little bit against the chair if you want to. One more breath. Good. And then slowly we'll let go of the chair and just bring your forearms down to your thighs if that feels okay. And let your neck relax. Feel your feet grounded. Now you can stay here, or if you want to, you can widen the feet a little bit and fold all the way down toward the floor. Okay, so you can just see what feels better in your body, staying up or going down. So it's like child's pose in a chair. Jaw relaxed, face relaxed if you can. I like to just release my neck when I do this. And now as you're ready, you can slowly come back up to the forearms if you're all the way down there. Feel your feet grounded. And then slowly bring yourself up. Walk the feet a little closer. Okay. We're going to squat and hold the squat. So for some of you, if you need assistance getting up out of the chair, then you can use it. Just try to use as little as possible, right? So you can try no hands, you can do hands on legs, and then we're going to hover there, okay? So you want your feet to be the same, your knees to be the same width as your feet, okay? You're going to inhale. Exhale, hinge and float here and see if you can hold the squat. Now, of course, if you need to come up a little higher, go for it. But can you lift your chest up? Yeah, so you're not, you're not like this, right? You're boom, up here. Good, keep breathing. You can come up sooner than me if you want to. I get those legs burning a little bit and then rise. Good. And from here, you can set your chair so that the chair is just at the front end of your mat somewhere, a little out of your way. And then we will take our feet shoulders distance apart approximately and side bend. Just exhale, lean. Inhale up. Exhale, lean. Right, you can add in an arm if you want to. By that I mean if you prefer to lean with the arm up, you can do that. Or you can even get a hold of the wrist, right? More of a crescent moon pose. Good. All right, coming back up. Arms come down. You can wiggle your feet a little closer. All right, we're going to come, if you're using a yoga mat, you can use your mat for this, unless it's one of those really, really thick ones, because that'll be hard to balance on. Otherwise, you just need any line in your house. Like I could even use the line where this carpet, I don't know if you can tell, it's almost the same color. This is a carpet where it meets the floor. That would be a line. It could also be a line on your wood floors or a tile or an imaginary line. Okay, I'm going to stand at the back of the space. You have some stretch of line ahead of you. If you're using the mat, we're going to take half of our foot on it and half of our foot off. So it gives some different information. The proprioceptors are giving different information to the brain as just one solid surface. All right, we're not going to look at our feet. We're going to breathe, try to loosen up, right? And let's step ahead, trying to stay on your line. Going slowly, right? So working with control here. And keeping breathing, of course. Good. Now, keep going, okay? When you get to the end of your space, we're going backwards, okay? I'll just try to feel it. Now, this can be really hard for people. So if it's feeling hard for you, that's totally normal. The people that I'm seeing here live today are doing really well with it. And you're probably doing well with it at home, even if I'm not here with you live, right? Am I going to jinx you? Okay, now pause. All right, just pause, shake it out a little bit. If this is too easy for you, like if you're like, this is really easy, then try it with your eyes closed, okay? We're gonna go to the other side. So what I did is I just moved to the other side of my mat. So now another half of my foot, like the opposite half, is on one surface. Okay, I'm just switching it up. I'm gonna try with my eyes closed. I'm anticipating this is gonna be hard for me with my eyes closed. If you're like, I'm not quite ready for that, try it with eyes open, but try to look straight ahead, relax your shoulders, arms are at your sides, okay? And if all of this is too hard, just try to walk in a straight line that's imaginary, okay? Ooh. Remember, the key is to try to let go of tension and fear because those are usually what cause more falls. Of course, just accidents cause falls too, but when we are fearful, we're more likely to fall. And this is a pretty low risk situation, right? Okay, and then if you've been doing it with eyes closed, you might want to open them for the way back, or maybe you can stick with it. Keep breathing. And then when you are finished, no rush at all, can of course open eyes if you haven't already. And just come into your space and do a few hula hoops. Move in hips around in a big circle. So side, forward, right? Side, back. Yeah. And then you can go the opposite way. Good. And then let's stand in mountain pose or Tadasana, feeling the feet on the floor, getting a sense for your whole body from your feet to your top of your head, your fingertips, following the breath in and following your breath out. All right, we're gonna get your rolled up blanket or mat. I like to use a mat because the blanket is too flimsy for me, but flimsy might be just fine. Now you will either need, I'm just gonna roll this up a little tighter for myself. You can roll up the mat you're actually using too, or you can use a tightly rolled blanket or towel. You may want the back side of your chair facing you or your wall. We're going to put the rolled up thing on your floor. And so I'm going to take my heels to the floor and both of the balls of my feet up the roll. And what you want it to feel like when you do this is that you're getting a stretch when you're just standing like this with your legs straight. If it's too big of a stretch, like you're not calm, it's more than 50 to 60% of your max, then you want to make your roll smaller. You can just unroll the thing, right? If it's barely a stretch, you're going to want to make it bigger. Okay, so adding something to it, making it thicker or more firm. Okay, right, so I'm breathing. Got a calf stretch going on here, right? I'm trying to see, are your feet straight? If not, can you make them straight, like they're parallel? Okay. And then from here, I'm going to inhale, lift my heels up. You can hold the back of your chair or your wall. And then exhale back down to the stretch. Okay, inhale up and exhale down. So this is a ankle strengthener, calf, stretch and strengthen, foot, stretch and strengthen, okay, and even toes, okay? If you're getting all the way up there, you're getting your toes as well. Good. Keep breathing. And hopefully, I mean, I've got a pretty big firm thing that I'm using here. You may or may not have as much. I'm already getting tired in my calves from doing this because mine's working pretty hard. But you may or may not, and that's okay. So this also helps strengthen the arches of your feet. If you have fallen arches, or bunions, like any of this stuff, these kind of things can be really good. You can always do this on a step too. Let's do a couple more if you can. You can always pause sooner. Good, okay. Now I'm gonna come down. Now if you, in your situation, are already getting a pretty big stretch just standing here, you can just stay right here, okay? Especially if your legs are really tight. Or some of you may want to hinge at the hips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just sliding my chair forward to make this happen. And I'm going to keep my legs straight. And I'm going to try to tilt my tail toward the ceiling. Like if I had a big bushy tail, like a squirrel, it'd be going up. But now can you relax your neck? So just let your head hang downward. That's it. Or come to neutral, or I'm resting mine on the back of my wrists here, on the back of the chair. Good. And breathe. Now, remember, for flexibility, if you're trying to increase flexibility of a certain muscle group, staying at about only that 50 to 60%, so you can breathe calmly, and holding it for 30 seconds to a minute several times a week is what's going to do it. So there's no need to go super intense, but there is a need to be repetitive about it. If you've really got a stubborn area that's needing to open up. And follow your breath in really wide. And then long exhale. It can go with ujjayi breath or pursed lip exhale, natural breath. Let's do a couple more. And now to come out, you might want to bend the knees first, and then help yourself up and out, and then come off of the roll and notice. I could do a couple shoulder rolls. So yes, to increase flexibility, it takes this like 5 times a week of 30 seconds relaxed, or maybe 2 to 3 or 3 with a minute. Now, the other thing is people often think an area is tight and strengthening it actually increases flexibility. So don't, some people just try to stretch, but actually strengthening is really important to increase flexibility as well. All right, so you can get that roll out of your way. And let's put the seat of the chair to face us again for a chair-supported downward dog. Okay, you can always do a floor down dog if you want. I'm just gonna inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold, and then step the feet back, stretching out. If it feels better for you to just fold down, like the arms don't wanna be overhead anymore like that, or stretched out, you can do that too. Couple more breaths. And when you're ready to come down, you can walk towards your chair, bringing yourself down to the floor. I'm going to put my legs over my chair for relaxation pose, but you could choose to not use the chair too, okay? Gonna get head and neck support. And if you're not using the chair, your feet can be on the floor. We're gonna do a happy baby pose here in a minute. So you can get yourself set up, right? And then bring your knees in. And I just wrap my hands around the outside of the knees or your arms. And then I take my feet up toward the ceiling with my knees bent, and that's happy baby pose. You could also do this without taking your feet up, just a wide knees to chest. And it might feel good to rock back and forth. Rock your baby. You can also reach up for the feet or the ankles. Or it might feel good to make circles on your low back and knees to chest, just like this. Good. I'll suggest one more thing here, or you can just go to straight resting. But the one more thing is a figure 4 stretch. So if you want to, you could do this on the chair or the floor. Is cross right ankle over left thigh and gentle press of the knee out to the side, or thread the needle by clasping behind the left leg. Jaw softening, face softening. And if you're doing figure 4, gently releasing that side and going for the other side. You can gently press the knee away, or you can thread the needle. Good. And as you're ready, you can come into releasing that and any other pose you might want to do. And trying to listen to what your body would like. I know we like to have suggestions because you might not be sure, but legs can go over the chair. I'm finding that I want to do a reclined Baddha Konasana, so I'm going to take the soles of my feet together and let my knees open up. I'm going to put my blocks beneath my knees. You could lie flat on the floor or be in constructive rest with knees bent. Key here is to help your body feel physically supported so you can practice letting go. You might take a sigh or two. And I know I forgot to remind you about self-compassion in your practice. And hopefully you were able to try that out. You might reflect now on, did you notice any way that you tend to talk to yourself when you're practicing or doing anything? And is it with kindness? And right now, could you say something to yourself in your mind that is compassionate and kind? Just anything you feel like you might need to hear. I'm not going into any story about it, just hearing whatever came up for you. And then noticing your response to that. Is there any emotion that arose, or resistance, or feeling? If you want to, you could put a hand one or two hands on your belly or your chest or anywhere else. You can choose to stay here longer, or you can start to move whenever you're ready to. I thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.